Pre-show, baby. Pre-show and a regular
And then
show.
feel free to clap.
Yeah? All right, hold
And
this
then
background noise.
then
Let's see.
then we'll start.
I told my roommate you can't cook during this session, but you might listen to me, you might not. All right, here we go. Here we go. Dancing the Podcast, episode 13. Slick, it's Monday. How are you doing, man? How are you feeling?
Love Mondays. Same as every day. Same as all the other.
So you get this a lot. You talk about, so-and-so's a great guy, so-and-so's a great person. He's selfless. He asks the question, he never wants to talk about himself. He always asks the question, how's your family? How's the family, Will? How's the family, Jim? And to me, that comes off as very manipulative. That comes off as like, I really care about you, but at the end of the day, I kind of don't. I'm just asking a blasé, throwaway question that's kind of bland. If you say they're bad, I'm not going to do anything differently. So where am I wrong with that? Is a bad question when saying, so-and-so's very selfless.
Yeah, so I think you're wrong because it's not a... The value is not on the question itself. The question is a value signal, right? So like by asking the question, you're signaling that you care. It's not like the question itself is the act of caring, right? I feel like the question in a lot of social contexts is more of a virtue signal of the fact that you care. It's not like the act of caring. Whereas like the act of caring is like, maybe like if you're in dire straits and you need dire straits is like bad, right? That's bad.
Okay.
So if you're in dire straits, you might remember like, oh yeah, like Dan's always like he cares about like my life. Like maybe I'll reach out to Dan. And so like the question, how's the family, is like
I think argument for me, if I may. It's way more of a virtue signal than an actual show of caring. You know what I mean? So it's like oftentimes people will see that and then make a judgment off of it, but then it's really not there. When times are necessarily shitty.
So I guess what we should say in conversation is, hey Dan, instead of asking you a throwaway question, just no, like I'm here for you. And, see you later.
I love it so much better, bro. If everyone like I don't know. I think we would have legitimately better conversations and better connections with our friends and family if we could be so much more upfront about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not gonna ask you how. I think it's. I don't know. I think there's something to say about that. So maybe I'm working through my thoughts on these little podcasts here, but yeah, I think that we could find a way to mitigate the throwaway questions, but
okay.
yeah,
I like that.
Good stuff. I like that. We solved that one.
All right, glad we're solving problems here.
There we go.
Okay, so here's your situation. So you're an engineer, programmer, coder, I don't know the word. And so you've been tasked with setting up this new software, and you've tested every piece of it. Your whole team has come up with an individual piece of the softwares, and they've bug tested. Each individual piece is perfect, and so therefore you conclude your new piece of software will also be perfect. So where's the logical fallacy there?
It is something I'm not exactly sure what the name would be, but it's something to do with the parts don't exactly create a whole. It reminds me of like the glass bottle boat thought experiment, where it's like say you have a boat in a glass bottle that's like life size, and you take a piece of the boat out every night and replace it, and you build that same boat outside of the glass. At the end, you have a replica. Like, where is the replica? Is the replica in the bottle, or is it outside with the one from the original? I don't know. It's kind of like the parts do not necessarily create a whole. That would be the best name for it.
Yeah, it's I actually like that. The short and sweet version is the fallacy of composition. So just because the pieces that compose something are good does not, like, just the attributes of the individual components are not necessarily the same as the attributes of the system.
Right.
In that there are emergent properties of a system that could be extremely divergent from the compositional parts.
Yeah, it's super interesting. You see it a lot in like not only a lot of professional work settings, especially like we have this startup dream team, like we have this great founder, we have this like technology wizard, we have this like so and so operations person. It's like we're gonna crush it. The next thing like 8 months later goes by, and everyone's like, we fucking hate each other. Like, it's incredible. Or you see it on sports too.
I like the opposite of that. Just or like you look at you see these like dysfunctional players or dysfunctional teams that like somehow blend together and just like I don't know. It's there are these emergent properties of the system of these dysfunctional pieces that like come together and create something magical. It's really
cool. There's no like exact science to it. It's like you see like players too that suck on one team and are really good on another. It's interesting.
I mean you can figure that algorithm, man. Billions.
Okay, I used the word anodyne in our pre-show. That's Slick's word of the day. Maybe that could be a new segment, word of the day. But this one definitely goes under that category. I think I used the word correctly. Either or, you're stuck on a desert island, but you're planning it. You got a plan, but you can only bring a toothbrush with unlimited changes to the thing and unlimited battery, or a lifetime supply of floss. You can't do either. I mean, you can't do one. You can only do one. Sorry, which are you choosing? I'm going team floss. That's the disagreeable take, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Right, I'm actually also team floss completely.
Really?
You can scratch off all whatever you want with your fingernails, and then. So fun side note, Dan. I think obviously I hadn't told you this before, but my brother is leading the charge in the flossing movement.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as he left the house, he was just like, oh, okay, no one can make me brush. Flossing's all I need, and he just floss. He would use mouthwash sometimes because like sometimes you get a weird smell. But he would just floss, and he hasn't had a cavity in years. And I think he brushes sometimes just for like the tongue mostly.
He brushes before his dates, before his hinge dates. Yeah,
exactly.
You gotta do that. But other than that, there's really no point doing it.
No, but I think okay. So I have a tangential question kind of related to this. So I've heard some like really. I'm a bit alarmed by when people make claims like, oh, by flossing, this can lower your blood pressure and heart disease risk and make healthier pregnancies. I'm like, whoa. Like, first of all, surely this is correlation. And second of all, like, how do you, like, who approves a study to arrive at a conclusion like that? These are obviously, like, people reading studies who don't know how to, I don't know. I'm just like, what do you make of that? You have 20 seconds. You're like...
Yeah, I thought you were going to give a take after that. But team floss all the way.
I think it's good.
And Tom's of Maine is the best brand. So that's maybe our first sponsor for Dan's Liquor Podcast. Tom's of Maine, best floss. Buy it.
I love a floss sponsor, just like the most banal but high impact product. I love that.
Ooh, banal, I like that.
Maybe
we're Magic Wand. So give me Magic Wand. We're finishing strong. Here we go.
All right. So Magic Wand. Here's the situation. You have the powers to add the next physical hardware of our brain. So we have I think it's the basal ganglia, lizard brain. We have our prefrontal cortex, which controls the lizard brain. What's the next level of control? What do you add? You have the powers of magical wand of physical
hardware. Are we talking hardware? From hardware, I wouldn't have as much of a.
But sorry, I consider all parts of the body hardware. So.
Okay.
So like not ideas. I don't want ideas in our head. I want physical hardware that allow. Yeah.
Okay, I would say whatever. So the part of the brain that controls language should have the same capability as facial recognition. So we should be able to. So our facial recognition capability is significantly higher because it's been more available to us for significantly more generations. But the language is still very early stage, I think. So if we could find a way with the brain to have the same capacity for words as we do for say facial recognition, for example, then I think that'd be a huge step for humanity.
That's really interesting.
moving forward.
I think we're actually moving in that direction. Have you ever gone back and forth texting a close friend of yours, and you just kind of been like, is someone texting for him, or is someone texting for her? Have you ever gotten that, and you like guessed it right?
No.
Like you can tell. Okay,
so that's a bit issue.
oh come on, Dan. I love the self-deprecation. It's a classic intro to a book move.
It's a classic game, I'm with you. But you can kind of tell. Okay, yeah, there's like a bit of a.
But like you can tell just by the word choice, and it's like a subconscious thing. By the word choice someone uses in a text message, sometimes you can tell that it's not the actual person texting.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, what would yours be? We got 15 seconds here.
What would I add on? I think some sort of
You got 3. You got 2.
I got nothing, Dan.
I was supposed to carry that whole. I was supposed to be all on me to carry that whole segment. Slick, come on, man.
I wanted to, keep people, waiting for more. So.
Yeah. Okay, man. That's good. I think it was a little bit tighter. We're at 15 minutes now, so we did a bit of a longer pre-show, but I thought that was okay. Yeah, that is an interesting one. Yeah, the brain. But you know what I mean, though? Like if we could, think about. I'm describing you. I say, oh, Will has, brown hair and grayish blue eyes, and he's a white guy. He's relatively tall. Like, you could be anybody. You could be fucking hundreds of millions of people on this earth, but like at some point,
Dan, I am unique.
You're what? You're unique. Yeah, you're very unique. Yeah. So am I. Yeah, I'm special. We're millennials. We're all special here. Come on. Yeah, but like the capacity to be able to use language to in the way that we know facial recognition. Like if there was another guy that was just popped up right next to you that was also tall with brown hair and grayish blue eyes and a white guy, I wouldn't be like, which one is Will? Like, who is he? You know what I mean? I'd be like, I know who Will is.
That's funny. That's a really good example. Yeah.
So
I guess.
I think if
so
our
we
brain can do that eventually, that'd be really interesting.
Yeah. So maybe just like a more increasing our language use to where it's so descriptive.
Yeah.
That like it couldn't you could describe something so well that it couldn't possibly be anything else.
Yeah, that'd be super interesting. And then I think that would get. I mean, you see so much like lost in translations with I don't know, things getting taken out of context. That would mitigate that significantly, and we'd be able to have better conversations. So yeah, I think that article you sent, I didn't do a deep dive into it around like brain neural interfacing. Like if we can just kind of like look at each other and I don't know. Because if you think about like all the things that need to happen to have a good conversation, like I need to have a thought, that I need to articulate it well, right? That needs to go into your brain, and you need to comprehend it, and then like do the same thing back to me. Like that's a lot of different gradients where things can get effed up. So
interesting.